Our next case takes us to Columbus, Ohio, where a former Vice Squad detective is on trial for a second time after killing a sex worker, and he claims it was self-defense. Now, this week, the crime scene was laid out for the jury as they went for a site visit and heard opening statements from both sides. Now, here's what we know. In 2018, investigators say Andrew Mitchell picked up the victim, 23-year-old Donna Castleberry, in an unmarked squad car. Mitchell tried to arrest Castleberry, who engaged in sex work in the area, but Castleberry wasn't convinced that Mitchell was actually a police officer based on his lack of identification. Investigators say that there was a scuffle inside the car. Castleberry slashed the defendant's hand with a knife, and that is when police say Mitchell shot Castleberry 3 times. She was later pronounced dead at the hospital. This week, the jury visited 2 sites connected to the case. One, the impound lot where Mitchell's vehicle was stored. 2, along with the actual location of the crime. Now, this followed opening statements where audio was played of the moments leading up to Mitchell opening fire on the victim. Let's take a listen.
When he's tracking me and saying he's a police officer, and he's not a police officer.
Yes, I am.
He's acting like he's a police officer, and he's not. He has this in a state bag. Kidnapping women. I've already heard about him, and he already is wanted. This possibly just showing the picture. You know that, right?
Yeah, all right.
They've been showing the picture. Don't put your hands on me. Don't put your hands on me. Do not put your hands on me. Do not put your hands on me. Don't put your hands on me. Help! Help!
She got a knife.
Help! Help! Get off of me!
Just cut me.
No!
We understand officers generally confront a threat, but there are circumstances where officers are tasked with saving lives, with assessing, with reassessing, with taking measures to avoid taking a life. He had the ability to create distance from her. She was in the back seat, trapped in that vehicle. He had a door open.
You're going to hear, upon realization that a warrant check was going to be done, the situation escalated from non-compliant to violent in a matter of seconds. Donna Castleberry pulls out a knife. You're going to see that knife. It is not a small knife. She attacks my client with that knife. She feloniously assaults my client with a deadly weapon when he is buckled into that driver's seat of the Mitsubishi.
Terry, we often see or hear body cam footage after police shootings. So what type of impact do you think that this audio is going to have on the jury?
Well, I think the jury is going to take a couple of things away from this audio that they heard today. So frankly, I do believe what stands out to me is she said she didn't believe he was a police officer. That was very sincere, and I think that the jury heard that and they probably are believing that she didn't think he didn't have a badge, so that was something that she thought. She also said, help me. She rolled down that window and she looked at a stranger and said, please call the police. One of the things the defense said was that she was trying to evade arrest, but she's not trying to evade arrest if she's asking a stranger to please call the police. She was in fear of her life. And then ultimately, the last thing, and the prosecution hit on this, was she said, I'm sorry. She was shot. She said, basically, she was, I think, at that point, not able to do anything, and he could have stopped. Instead, he shot multiple times, and 3 of those bullets actually hit her, and it was, I think, excessive force.
Well, let's be clear. Brian, the defense is arguing this was a lawful arrest. He engaged in self-defense, but did it sound like a lawful arrest to you? And if it wasn't, what happens then?
Jesse, I've rarely, if ever, heard of an arrest where an officer parks his vehicle in a way that one door is blocked off so the person can't escape, and then for whatever reason, that person was not patted down, not searched for weapons, not handcuffed. My understanding is the proper paperwork wasn't even done. This is either the worst arrest ever, or this was not a lawful arrest. This was a John, meaning a man who purchases sexual favors from a woman, taking advantage of a woman, then using his badge to cover it up. And it seems more like the second one than the first one, and he's claiming self-defense, even though his unlawful act should not afford him the ability to use that defense.
All right, weird case, twisted case, and now having a second run of it. We'll see which way it goes.